Once again, as we sit down, it's very easy just to immediately start doing something, beginning the practice as we conceive it. But I encourage instead just stopping, taking a moment to consciously appreciate in this moment, how is it? This particular day, third day of the retreat, a Monday morning, no sound of the rain. The air is humid, warm. The body feels like this. In this moment, here it is, exactly this way. And what's the mood of the mind? A few days into the retreat, are we sleepy, alert, sad, depressed, inspired, frustrated? How is it? What's the mood of the mind? So we make a habit of this assessing, appreciating. In this moment, what's the attitude? What is the framework that the mind gives to this moment, this day? How does the body feel in this moment, this day? So there's an establishment of the quality of awareness, attunement to the present experience. That's the basis of practice, rather than me doing something, me following a method or a program, a technique, a plan. Awareness itself is the ground of Dhamma practice. In this way, there's also a development of the skill of letting mindfulness and wisdom, awareness itself, be what guides our intentions and actions. By being awake, let the body respond, let the posture adjust based on the quality of awareness, knowing the feelings of the body. Let that awareness have its effect. Feel the body adjusting, straightening on its own, relaxing on its own, settling on its own. Similarly, the quality of concentration, rather than I should focus on my breathing. I need to, I should, I must. Notice those habits of self-creating thought. I should, I must, I have to. Let go of the I and me and mine, and let awareness itself, the awake quality of the citta, be what inspires focus, attention to the present. So for the first few days of a retreat, it's helpful to let the mind settle, using the rhythm of the breathing, the feelings of the feet in the walking meditation, using a specific object to help guide attention. Staying between those white lines that mark the present reality. But we use an object like mindfulness of breathing simply to key the attention into the present reality because of its tendency to drift, to wander. If the attention is already grounded in the present, not wandering into the remembered past or the imagined future, then There's less of a need to use objects like the rhythm of the feet as we walk, or the rhythm of the breath as we sit. It's like when you're playing a game of golf. When you get to the green, you take the flag out of the hole because you can see where the hole is. If you're far away, you need the flag to tell you where the green is, what to aim for. If you're already up close, you don't need the flag. So similarly, if the mind is up close to the present reality, we don't need that kind of a flag of the rhythm of the breath or the pattern of our footsteps. We're already here. So if you find that your attention is getting well settled, 3 days into the retreat now, if there is a greater quality of calmness, settledness, then there's no need to focus on the rhythm of the breathing as a particular object. Yeah. The attention is well established in the present, then we don't need that kind of a reference point. So if the mind is well settled, steadily attending to the present experience, we can let the field of awareness be much more open, broad, wide. When the attention focuses on a single object, like the breathing, and we can call this the one-pointedness, the point which excludes everything else, deliberately focusing on one object and putting everything else aside. If the attention is steadily in the present, then we can broaden the attention. So there's still one-pointedness, but that point includes the whole field of experience that makes up the present reality. It's the point which includes everything. The sound of my voice, the feelings of the body, the purring of the air conditioning, the fan, sounds of insects and birds and lizards, geckos. Here it all is. This is the one-pointedness, but that point is broad, wide, all-inclusive. So the heart is attuning itself to the whole field of experience. Yesterday I was talking about the way the world arises in the mind, takes shape in the mind and dissolves in the mind. So this mode of practice helps to strengthen that perspective, that view. With the heart open to the flow of the world, there's a stillness, a steadiness. The citta doesn't go anywhere. It's always here, absolutely present. So within this still, open, spacious presence of awareness, then the world arises, takes shape, and dissolves. A sound, feeling in the body, a thought, an emotion, a memory, a plan. They arise, take shape, dissolve. As the Buddha said to Ananda, this is a wonderful and marvelous quality of the Tathagata. That the Tathagata, the Buddha, knows a feeling, a thought, a perception, an emotion. As it arises, as it abides in the mind, as it dissolves, fades away. This is a wonderful and marvelous quality of the awake, aware mind, the Tathagata. that knowing presence of the citta. So if we open the attention, broaden the field of awareness like this, we can begin to get a feeling, a sense for how there's stillness, peacefulness, spaciousness, but yet there's the flow, the movement of sound and memory, color and sensation. But the arising and passing of those objects does not disturb the stillness. The movement, the flow of perceptions doesn't affect the stillness of awareness, and the stillness of the awareness doesn't obstruct the flow of perceptions. They work together. Or if we open the awareness in this way, then what is found by most people is that quite quickly the attention then gets caught by a particular idea, a plan, a memory, sensation. It gets born into a fantasy, a painful memory, a physical sensation. Having grasped it, become it, born into it, then gets lost in that. So we recognize that pattern, but we don't need to follow that. Don't need to be swept along by those habits. Rather, we can use the quality of wise reflection, yoniso manasikara, to not allow the mind to grasp, not to follow its tanha upadana bhava process, not to get lost in that outflowing tendency. There's a painful feeling, can be known as a feeling. There's an exciting fantasy, a memory, can be known as an attractive memory. The mind doesn't have to follow that tanha upadana bhava process. It can just stay with the realm of feeling. The tools that are recommended to help stay just simply with the quality of feeling, perception, are the reflections upon anicca, change, impermanence. A painful feeling, is it in a state of change? Yes, it's anicca. Is it satisfactory? No, it's painful. It's dukkha. Is it who and what you are? Is it atta or anatta? Well, it's known here in this space of awareness, but that awareness, is it a person? Does it belong to a person? As the process of insight, vipassana, is developed, it's recognized this which knows the person, the personal, thoughts and feelings, perceptions, sensations, this which knows the person is not a person. It's awake, it's aware, it's not female or male, old or young, has no nationality, no language. It knows, it's here, present. It's not a person, doesn't belong to a person. It's not a self, doesn't belong to a self. This is the awake, aware quality of the citta, the vijja dhatu, the element of awareness itself, the puru, tat ru. So when the mind gets caught by a sensation in the body or a sound that is heard or an idea, an emotion, then bring those reflections on anicca, dukkha, anatta to question. Is this in a state of change? Can this be permanently satisfying? Even the sweetest memory, most delicious fantasy, can it stay interesting, exciting? Is it a self? Does it belong to a self? So by using these reflections on anicca, dukkha, anatta, then the grasping habit is counteracted. The pull of tanha upadana bhava is not given any energy, it's not followed. That's the purpose of these reflections. They're tools that help the mind stop being caught in that outflowing tendency, the asava, the outflowing pattern of mind. So there's a knowing of feeling, thinking, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. A knowing of that field of perception, attuning to it, aware of it, but not limited by it. Knowing those patterns of perception as they arise, as they take shape, as they dissolve, that the heart is unentangled, even as it knows the patterns of nature, patterns of perception and feeling and thought, as they arise and pass. It knows them. It's not limited by them. It's not burdened by them. So if meditation is a bit new to you, or you've had a very active few weeks, well, there's lots of emotional charge in your life, and the mind is far from settled, far from focused, and is still jumping after thoughts and feelings, easily distracted, then it's like we're still in need of that kind of a reference point. We need those guidelines. So if the mind is still agitated, busy, drifting into sleepiness or into agitation, then rather than letting go of the breath or the footsteps as we do the walking meditation, continue to use those. We each need to assess what is useful for our own body, our own system. Just like how much food do we need each day? How much rest? We're all different. So if the mind is still busy, agitated, easily distracted, then we still need those white lines very clearly marking out the track for the mind to follow. Don't think of this as a weakness or failure, but rather this is what the system needs. Would you ask a 5-year-old child to be solving complicated calculus equations? No, it's not their skill. It's not their capacity. But adding 5 and 3, 6 and 2, taking away 8 from 23, that they can do. So we use our wisdom faculty to judge what's useful, what's beneficial for this being, this system in each moment. The things that we experience that are challenging, physical pain is close to the top of the list for most people. We think of meditation as a mind training, but it's also a body training as well. So physical discomfort is a natural part of sitting still for a long time. just the presence of a body. That's physical pain. So when we're sitting for these long periods of time, pain arises in your legs or your back, your shoulders. It's very easy then to think of that physical pain as an obstruction to the practice. But if that painful feeling is so strong, then bring attention right to it. Consciously be aware of it. Now, with physical pain, there's two aspects to it. There's the natural, intrinsic quality of discomfort that is there with painful feeling. That's what the Buddha called the first arrow. Looks on. And if there's a body and a mind, it's necessarily going to experience pain. The Buddha himself had chronic back pain in his old age. So that's the first arrow. No one can avoid being shot by being hit by that first arrow. The second arrow, which is completely avoidable, is the worrying, the resenting, the negativity around that painful feeling. So when you feel pain in the body, you can bring attention right to that spot. See if there can be a relaxation around that. Being aware of that feeling. Let the awareness bring a relaxation of attitude and a relaxation of the muscles of the body in that area. See if there can just be the uncomfortable feeling without the second arrow of negativity, fear, resentment, worry, what the pain's going to turn into. Rather, just to know this uncomfortable feeling as it is. The dukkha of the second and third noble truths that is brought into being by craving and can completely end is not the first arrow. It's all about the second arrow. The Buddha himself had chronic back pain. He still felt physical pain. Would lie down and stretch his back. When he was giving a Dhamma talk, if the back was too painful. The dukkha that can completely come to an end is the second arrow. So there can be uncomfortable, painful feeling, but it's absolutely not a problem. When the pain is experienced, appreciated with this quality of mindfulness and wisdom, then when it's time to move the body, then you can change the posture. That's based on kindness to the body rather than aversion and fear. It's like the Buddha saying to Ananda, my back is paining me, the assembly is still awake, I'm going to go and lie down and stretch my back, carry on giving a Dhamma talk, the assembly is still wide awake. So the Buddha would interrupt a Dhamma talk to go and lie down, stretch his back. And he's the Buddha. And he didn't just do that once, but many times. So it's certainly very allowable to change the posture, but just like the Buddha, out of kindness to the body, compassion for the living system, we let the posture change. So it's based on kindness, awareness, rather than fear and aversion and reactivity. If we learn to work with physical pain in this way, changes the attitude in a radical fashion. Pain is no longer seen as an unwanted intrusion, but just a natural part of the living system that can be worked with. Doesn't have to interrupt the peace of the citta, the spaciousness of the citta. Ajahn Jiew will say a little bit more about walking meditation.
กับขอโอกาสท่านอาจารย์ครับอ่าก่อนที่เราจะเดินจงกรมด้วยกันก็ทบทวนต่อเนื่องจากที่ท่านอาจารย์สอนเรื่องสมาธิไปเล็กน้อยคือว่าอ่าก่อนที่จะเดินเรามีงานหลักๆ2 งานที่เราสามารถจะทำได้คืองานสร้างความสงบให้กับจิตใจของเราก็เดินแบบที่เราเดินกัน1-2 วันแรกนี้ แล้วอีกงานหนึ่งที่ท่านอาจารย์เริ่มแนะนำไปแล้วคืองานพิจารณาแต่จะทำอันเนี้ยให้ตัดสินใจก่อนจะเดินในแต่ละช่วงว่าช่วงนี้จะทำอะไรแล้วก็พยายามรักษาวินัยของตัวเองในการทำอย่างนั้นในแง่แรกถ้าจะเดินเพื่อความสงบก็เพิ่มเติมเรื่องเทคนิคที่อาจจะใช้ได้อย่างเช่นว่าการเดินคราวที่เราบอกว่าการกำหนดจังหวะอ่าเร็วช้าขึ้นอยู่กับความชอบเราให้อยู่กับสัมผัสที่เท้าแตะพื้นแต่ละก้าวแต่ละก้าวทีนี้อาจจะใช้วิธีอย่างนี้ก็ได้สำหรับคนที่ยังพบว่าจิตฟุ้งไปมากอาจจะใช้วิธีนับก้าวนะนับเลยตั้งแต่หัวทางไปจนถึงปลายทางว่ามีกี่ก้าวแล้วต่อหันกลับมาก็นับอีกทีหนึ่งใช่ไหมถ้าเราเผลอเนี่ยบางทีมันจะหลุดไปก้าวมันจะหายไปนั่นก็เป็นตัวเช็คได้อย่างหนึ่ง หรือว่าที่บอกว่ามีวิธีอ่ากำหนดว่าตรงต้นกลางต้นทางเดินจงกรมกลางเดินจงกรมแล้วก็ตรงปลายทางมีมาร์กให้เราเพิ่มขึ้นหรือจะถี่ขึ้นก็ได้ว่าต้นเสาแต่ละต้นอ่ากอไม้ตรงนี้เพื่อทำให้เรามีสติให้ละเอียดขึ้นนี่นอกจากการนับแล้วอาจจะใช้วิธีถ้าฟุ้งมากๆอยากจะลองเดินถอยหลังก็ได้พอเดินถอยหลังเนี่ยจะมีความระมัดระวังมากขึ้นแต่ต้องดูพื้นที่ที่จะไม่เป็นอันตรายนะที่จะปลอดภัยพอสมควรก็จะทำให้สติของเรามากขึ้นนะถอยหลังในบางช่วงหรือว่าอยากจะลองอยากมีสติเต็มที่กับการเดินจริงๆนะก็ถอดรองเท้าแล้วไปเดินบนพื้นกรวด อันนี้เนี่ยความคิดทางอื่นก็จะไม่ค่อยมีเพราะว่าสัมผัสที่มันเจ็บนะกดไปก็จะอ่าอ่าจะรู้สึกตัวชัดเจนที่พุทธไสยเนี่ยมีเส้นหนึ่งที่เราเรียกกันว่าเส้นทางสวรรค์คือมันเต็มไปด้วยกรวดนะมันก็จะมีสติเต็มที่เลยนะไม่คิดเรื่องอื่นอันนี้ก็เป็นวิธีการปฏิบัติเพื่อที่ให้ดึงสติมาอยู่กับกายกายอยู่ที่ไหนใจให้อยู่ที่นั่นอันนี้นะคือเดินแต่พอเริ่มเรื่องของการพิจารณาหรือการวิปัสสนาอาจจะลองอันนี้ก็ได้ว่าขณะที่เดินพิจารณากายในฐานะที่เป็นโครงกระดูกเดินหรือว่าเป็นคือจริงๆก็เป็นเห็นด้วยตาภายในนะจริงๆก็ภายนอกแล้วก็เป็นเราเนี่ยแหละแต่เราก็รู้ว่าข้างในของเราเนี่ยมีโครงกระดูกเราก็สมมุติเห็นโครงกระดูกกำลังเดินแทนที่จะเป็นตัวเราเดินหรือก็เป็นอ่าเป็นภาชนะที่เป็นถุงเนี่ยหนังเนี่ยหุ้มห่อข้างในที่มีอวัยวะต่างๆของร่างกายอันนี้ก็เป็นการพิจารณากายหรือจะเป็นเมตตาภาวนาก็ได้นะอย่างเช่นการเมตตาภาวนาก็ใช้วิธีว่าสร้างคำขึ้นมาเพื่อให้สอดคล้องกับการเดินอย่างเช่นว่าขอเขาเป็นสุขขอฉันเป็นสุขนะก็เมตตาให้ตัวเองก่อนแล้วจากนั้นก็เมตตาให้กับคนอื่นเวลาเดินก็ถ้าเดินไวก็เป็นขอเขา9 1เป็นสุขขอเขาเป็นสุขขอเขาเป็นสุขแต่ถ้าเดินช้าก็เป็นขอเขาเป็นสุขอย่างเงี้ยก็ได้นะก็เจริญเมตตาในขณะที่เดินก็อาจจะทำให้เวลากลับมานั่งเนี่ยก็ทำให้สงบได้ง่ายขึ้นก็มีงานอย่างอื่นที่จะทำได้เริ่มทำได้และที่สำคัญคิดว่าเวลาที่เดินแล้วในช่วงต่อเนื่องจากการเดินอยากให้มีการช่วงต่อเนื่องว่าเดินเสร็จแล้วเนี่ยคือแค่เปลี่ยนอิริยาบถกลับมานั่ง อ่อยากให้มีช่วงที่ต่อเนื่องอย่าบางทีเราจะเดินไปแล้วก็กลับมานั่งแล้วก็ไปเข้าห้องน้ำหรือไปทำธุระอื่นแล้วค่อยกลับมานั่งมันจะมีช่วงเหมือนกับที่ ไม่ต่อเนื่องกันทีเดียวอยากให้ลองว่ามีบางช่วงที่เป็นช่วงที่เดินเสร็จแล้วก็เดินกลับมาสู่การนั่งเลยอย่างต่อเนื่องกันเพื่อจะได้เห็นว่าการเดินเนี่ยมันเอื้อทำให้การนั่งดีขึ้นยังไงนะมันถ้าสมมติว่าเราเดินแล้วก็เราพักไปทางอื่นเราก็จะไม่เห็นว่าการเดินนั้นนะส่งผลกับการนั่งยังไงนะก็คิดว่ามีเท่านี้ก่อนถ้ามีคำถามอะไรก็สามารถถามได้ในช่วงถามตอบ